Shabbat Shalom one more time, and you are welcome to the Shabbat of this morning. The Parashat that we are going to discuss about this morning is called Parashat Ki-Tavo. And Parashat Ki-Tavo means when you come, when you are coming in. But I subtitle the Parashat of this morning as to be a blessing or not. Who decides? To be a blessing or not. Who decides? You have to ask yourself that question. Am I a blessing or not? Who decide? I'm not going to tell you that answer. I know my own answer for myself. You decide your own answer by yourself. Every generation goes through a transition period. There are people alive today who are able to explain the transformation of travel from horses to car and from car to airplane. Technological revolution or evolution and the changes it creates require all of us to adapt and adjust. Younger people grasp onto these new fun things, these inventions, these new inventions much more easily than those of us, who are already, an old man, because our brain is already full, So our younger children, they understand it, I have a cell phone, and this cell phone, I've been using it for the past maybe 7-8 years now. I refuse to change it because they want me to change it. And I said, why should I change it if it's working? So I don't want to change it. But there are functions there I don't even know. My son, who is 11 years old, he says, oh, Papa, this is how to use it. But I have this for forever. I don't even know that function is even there, right? Because these children now, they grasp technology just like that. One of the ways the person can stay young is by adjusting to the life new environment. How can you stay younger? Don't say, oh, I'm 50 years old, I'm 45 years old, I'm 80 years old. Don't say, I am 90 years old, then so therefore I'm stagnant. No, you have to keep on every time adjusting, every time. Always adjust. So you need to adjust to your surrounding. You need to adjust even though to the style that is going on. You have to adjust to technology that is going on, or even to architecture of the city. Because some of us, right, if you look at Montreal of 1980s, Montreal of 1970s, it's not the same Montreal of 2025. Because you can see those old buildings, some of them are gone, new one comes out, there's some area, right, that are just filled. Now it's apartment, right? So the architecture of the city is changing continuously. So therefore, we have to do what? To adjust to things as they come. As a middle-aged man, I try to familiarize myself with the ever-increasing speed of technology and what is available to us, vice versa, new computers that we have now, all these new devices, and the internet and all the apps, in those things, because I don't even know how to, use them myself, because there are just too many, just too much that your mind, it can even blow your mind away. Or that the first time I heard about an app that when you listen to a song, you just put your telephone and just put your phone on that song, it just give you who sing it, and give you the example of the song. Everyone say, oh my God, this is, they call it Shazam or Shazam or whatever it is. I say, oh wow, see, this is how the people even come and about all those ideas. Say this is incredible for you to be able to train AI, the artificial intelligence, to even recognize the voice, the vibration, and it gives everything. I say, wow, this is we have gone far, So most time the changes are for the better, often saving times, yes. It saves us money, yes, and also aggravation. Like for example, oh, I want to know who sing a particular song. Okay, I need to go. Let me go and look for the video, or let me go and look for the CD, or let me go and look for the plate. You know what is called a plate? I hope some of you know what is called a plate. Oh my God, nobody knows what is called a plate. A plate is it was used in the 60s, in the 50s. You know, it's round like this, black.
A record. A record.
Yeah, it's a record. Yes, a record. Yeah, we call it a plate. So we put it like this on top of the and it's round and it go round. So you see, so all those things I tell my children, they don't know what is the cassette. You know, but a cassette was just in the 80s. We used cassette in early 90s. We still use cassette. You know, you show them that this is a cassette. So what the hell is this? You know, but it's a cassette. It's a music instrument. So you can hear music through it. So we can these things they help us, you know, in our lives. But we need to understand another part of it. There is a positive side of it, and there is a negative side of it. We need to be aware of those two sides, as it helps you to save time, to save money, and aggravate a lot of things for you. This technology can also be used for destructive purposes, to spy on you and me, not to make us to have our freedom. Understanding that, the question is, to be a blessing or not, who decides? There is a saying among our people that everybody comes to the world with blessing. Every human being that we have comes with a blessing when they are born, right? And not everybody goes with a blessing. No, everybody comes with a blessing, but not everybody goes with a blessing. So he said, the Torah said, you will be blessed when you go in and when you go out. But what is the meaning of that? What does that translate to? What is the understanding that the Holy Spirit is telling us here? Most of us think that, oh, I'm going to be a blessing when I go like this, come out of my house and come back to my house. Yes, it means that, but if you go very deep in the spiritual understanding, the truth of it, that is not what the Torah is telling us. The Torah says, when you will be a blessing when you come in. When you are born, you are going to be a blessing. And when you exceed the world, when you exceed this planet, you are going to be a blessing. But not everybody that exceeds is a blessing. But everybody, you know, that a boy is born, or a child, let me don't use a boy, because somebody will tell me, those people who are so entered into gender will tell you, Rabbi, why are you mentioning a boy? Okay, somebody, to make it neutral. Somebody is born, right? Everybody comes, hey, the woman gives birth, right? You say, oh, good. They give gift. They praise God, right? Everybody says, hey, this boy will be a nice, will be a wonderful. I say boy again. Sorry. This child will be a wonderful, wonderful child. You know, he bring a blessing to the family. Everybody rejoices and everybody is hunky dory. Everything is fine. Behold and lo, the boy is a killer. When he grew up, is that a blessing? It's no longer a blessing. Yeah, when he came to the world, there is a potential. Understand? There is a but when he comes in here, he becomes what? Polluted. Then he acquired those negative traits, yeah, right? And he dwelt in them, not even listening to what what is good and what is right. Begin to dig his own grave more deeper and deeper and deeper. And when he exceeds with negativity, not with positivity that he came with. So this is what our church is trying to tell us through this. To be a blessing or not, who decides? This time of the year focuses on change and transition. We try to modify and adjust our spiritual existence for the better, hopefully using precious time efficiently, spending our resources on spiritual growth, avoiding aggravation in the coming year and the war to come. But how do we know if something that begins or appears as a blessing will continue to be a blessing? A hint to this can be found in this week's Torah reading. So this is the question. A thing that begins with blessing. Let me rephrase it again. A thing that seems to be a blessing. Will that thing continue to be a blessing? I remember when there's a phone I can never forget in my life. I love that phone. I still have it. Back home in my house. I brought it. So I brought it. I bought that phone in Europe. It's called Nokia. I don't know if you know Nokia. Nokia 3137. It's a small, tiny Nokia like this, very small, tiny. And that Nokia, oh man, I'm telling you, I love that Nokia so much because Nokia was the first phone that has a radio. You can plug it and you can be listening to the radio. It's also so tiny like this. It's just comfortable any part. You put so I put it and I put my radio. And in that Nokia, they don't track you. There is no camera at the back. But for me, I love it. It's good. Now I remember when the first iPhone came. Because there's camera at the back, yeah, people everybody were jumping, yeah. It's like he just started like this, yeah, look at this, wow, this is a good technology because Nokia will press the I don't know what they call it, the button, yeah, we press the button. But this one, everything there is no button. Wow, it just like wow, this is wonderful, right? Everybody were jumping, hey. Not knowing before I know, not knowing that you are buying with your own hand and money, you are buying a spying tools against yourself. You see, can you see? Initially it look good. Initially it look wonderful. Initially it look nice, right? But at the end, you are buying the eyes. You know, the single eyes, one eye that see all. You are buying the eye to track you everywhere that you go. Now, if you look at it, is that good or not? You decide. It's not me. Each and every one of us decide if it is good or not. So this is where I am going here. Yes, it is good for us. In that phone, well, you know, we all buy all this phone now. This called what do you call them? This iPhone, Samsung, all of them, right? We are using it. Yes, the good part of it is this: that you can be able to see. I mean, like if somebody commits a crime, you will use to track a criminal. But is that good to use to? Is it good for you to use the same instrument to track who is not a sinner? I mean, who didn't commit a crime? That is where I'm going. Yes, it is time that I can use it to do positive things. I'm not saying there is no positivity there. There is positivity there. But when you say that everybody is a thief, and then there is a problem. Everybody is not a thief. If you are a thief, that doesn't mean that everybody is a thief. Because you are a thief, you think everybody is a thief. So that is what I'm saying. So you cannot be using it to spy against the righteous one, the good one. But if you know that someone committed a crime, yes, of course, you can use it to track them. So this is what the Parashat said this morning. Parashat Devarim, in Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 6. It said, "Blessed are you when you enter, and blessed are you when you leave." Now, Hazal then asked this verse with regarding to sinning. Now, he's not putting it in the spiritual interpretation now, in the suit of the world. A person to leave this world without sin, just as he entered it without sin. This notion sounds wonderful, but one issue we have is how do the sages come to this idea? I mean that you enter into this world without sin, and you go out of this world without sin. Is that possible? In the sense, in the eyes of the men, it's very hard. Because the Torah says we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. But the Savior is saying it is possible for you to come, because technically when you came in, you came without sin. There was no sin. So you are pure, a baby. You didn't come with sin, right? But can you go out without a sin? Can you be sinless when you go out? That is the question. So they are telling us, you come in with blessing. That is the other way. Can you go out with blessing? Is the question. You come in with a blessing. Can you go out with a blessing? You decide. I'm not going to decide that for you. We decide that individually. This notion sounds wonderful, but one issue we have is how do sages come about this idea? The Gemara in Eruvin 13b states that the rabbis are rabbis, they taught us, for 2.5 years, Beth Shammai and Beth Hillel, that the house of Shammai and the house of Hillel, have this argument. They were arguing, discussion among one another. Some said better or easier for a person not to be created more so than to what? To be created. Is it good for a person to be created or not to be created? Which one is more good? Now, others said a person is better off being created more so than not to be created. It's an argument between these two groups, because in Israel we have these two houses of understanding, the house of Shamel and the house of Hillel. So this is a kind of a school of thought. So these two schools of thought are debating. Now a vote was taken, and the results were better for man not to have been created rather than to be created. That was the vote. The vote now say, oh, so the people that voted for a man, it's better for a man not to be created than to be created. They won the vote. So, but there's a but here. But rather, now that he was created, he should fill out or check out his action to examine his ways and deeds. Now, yes, even though they said that it is better for a man not to be created rather than being created, but now that we have been created by God, so what should we do? We, as a human being, should do what? Check our ways. Understand where are we falling short, and where are we supposed to do what? Improve. It's not that being created or not being created is the matter. The matter is, do we examine ourselves? Because this time of the year is the time that we have to examine ourselves. Examine yourself. I examine myself. Is my children better than me, or am I better than my children? Am I continuing in the way of the Torah, or am I backsliding from the way of the Torah? Am I allowing my heart to be sealed like a stone, or is my heart the heart of a flesh? Am I obeying all the mitzvot of the Lord, or am I stepping upon the mitzvot? Am I running strictly to do the command, or the opposite? So all these are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. Now, this is what he continues. That based upon this Gemara was what blessing is there upon entering this world? How is it a braha for a person to come into the world? A braha meaning a blessing. I repeat again. Based upon this Gemara, this word or understanding, what blessing is there upon entering the world? What is the blessing that is there? And what is the braha, or what is the blessing for a person to come into this world? To quickly say a short thing, my people, in my town, in our language, he said that every child comes with a blessing. And I'm telling you, with all my soul and with all my heart, I've told us several times here, I believe that to the core of my mind. There is no child that is born that does not bring a blessing for their parents. No. Because they know that the Holy One, blessed be He, knows that that child has to eat, has to do all, has to be clothed, has to need shelter, and all those. So the child bring those blessings from above. You don't have to sense it. They bring that blessing for their parents, so for them to be able to take care of them in this world. Tosafot addresses the question and answers with a distinction as to the kind of people we are donating. So to be a blessing or not, so is depending on the people. That is where the answer is coming from. The answer is this question is not like to say, is it good for man to be created or not? Or is it better for us rather not to be created? That is not the question. What we should rephrase the question is, what kind of people are we talking about that is created? What kind of person are you when you are born? What kind of person, what kind of person, I can rephrase, what kind of person you are going to become? You see? What kind of person you are going to become? Because every mama, papa, parent, they have a big hope upon their sons or daughters on the day that they are born. Everything in their mind is about positivity for that child. In the mind of a mama or a papa, there is no negativity. Even though if the child comes with one leg. No, I don't care. Everything is what? Positivity. But what will that child become once he or she is here? That is the question that we should ask. If we are discussing a rasha, we mean a rasha meaning negative, evil. If we are discussing an evil, bad, or a wicked person, he surely will be better off never having entered into this world, right? From the side of a man. I'm not talking from the side of God, I mean from the side of a man, right? Because he runs the risk of sinning and being punished on the way out of this world. But when we talk about the opposite, a tzaddik, a righteous person, a good person, it is not only good for him to come into the world, but it is even good for his generation, because it's a tzaddik, it's a good person. The generation that has great people living among them benefits everyone as they learn from them and assess all the good fortune they bring. I mean, a tzaddik. When a tzaddik is born, right? When they grow up, a righteous person is not only righteous for himself alone. All his generation are blessed because those people, those generations, they can learn a lot of things from this tzaddik, from this righteous man, and thereby uplifting the entire what? The entire community. The same thing on the other side, when the wicked person, when the rasha is born. So we need to understand that too, because that person brings down the community. It's not lifting up the community. This distinction could very well explain the difference of opinion between the house of Shammai and the house of Hillel, to the extent that they both agree to teach the concept being attributed to tzaddik or rasha. This is why the opinion is anonymous regarding both individuals. We just don't know which person said which statement. So saying here that it is not about being created or not being created, but what do we become after being created? Remember, the Holy One, blessed be He, said, all my creation is what? Very, very good. Very good. So, what do you become after entering into the world? There's a law of up and down. There's a law of garbage that we gather, after being born, right? We were born free, right? There's no garbage when we came. But when we came into this world, we begin to gather all those garbages. Some positive, some negative. So therefore, we as a child of God, we as a student of Moshe, we as a student of the Torah, have to understand which kind of thing am I taking along with me. Am I taking the negative, gathering the negative, or am I gathering the positive? We have to decide that within ourselves. We need to understand that the Holy One he said that all his creation is good. You are good. But you have a potential. But what do you do with those potential? When the person leaves this world without sin, then retroactively it will have been a blessing for him to have come into the world in the first place. Because you are living with a blessing. You leave behind a blessing. People say, now we say after thousands of years, right? We remember Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Because of their actions. We remember Moshe Rabbeinu because of his action. We remember Jeremiah because of their action. Eliyahu, Yeshua HaMashiach, all those people because of their actions, right? The blessing that they left behind that we can follow after. So what will you leave behind? It's a question that you have to answer. I can answer that for you. What will I leave behind? I can only answer that by myself. Because every man has a path. And your path after you will be seen. But you need to understand that path, is it positive or negative? It will be seen. There is no how. You can't dodge it. You can't escape it. I remember when we were small back at my home, when we go to hunt, When you hunt, what do? You don't just go say, oh, I'm looking for animal. Where are you? Animals are not done, right? You follow the path of the animal. Oh, okay, this is the path of the antelope. You look at the feet. Or maybe the excrement. Okay, it just came now. You look, it's fresh. It's still there, right? You follow all the path. That is it. Then we hunt. The same idea here. It's not complicated. Your path will be seen. You cannot cover it. There is no way you can cover it. Because your deed, the sure thing your deed will be made known. Positive or negative, against the fire. Every work will be tested with fire. And the one that stands, good. The one that burns, good. So bad for you. I'm sorry. You need to understand that. What do we do? So, if a person comes into this world and grow full of sin, then we view his life retroactively that it would have been better if that person wasn't born. Let us use the remaining days of this year striving, focused to become a Sadiqim with fewer sins, so that moving forward into the new year that is coming will be a blessing as it was when we come into this world. So that is the understanding, this idea that the Holy One Blessed be He wants us to understand this morning. When we begin this year, I begin it with blessing. Am I going to end it with blessing? It is you that decide. When you come in, you shall be blessed. When you go out, you shall be blessed. But to be a blessing or not, who decide? God does not decide that. You decide individually and collectively. We decide. Remember, God bless us all when we came in. That is it. But when we are coming out, are we going to go out with that blessing or not? It is for you to decide. Parashat, Ki-Tavo. To be a blessing or not, who decides? Shabbat Shalom.